I'm just gonna fast forward to nearer to the first spot here.
Looks more exciting over there.
So Sage, the first thing right off the bat that I noticed, I'm gonna pause it right here. You guys land split. Your teammate isn't even in a building right now, so he doesn't have a gun. You're inside, you'll have a gun here in a second. If anybody else landed near you, you guys are probably dead. You guys probably just lose right here. In a spot where it's not as contested, or even if it just happens to like not have a lot of people, this is probably fine. But you guys saw several teams landing here, so it's not really ever worth it to land a part like this in a hot drop. Your teammates looting the bins outside of that building. You're just about done looting. You peek in here, you guys meet up. You grab stuff, you ping it.
First blood.
Alright, so right here, you get to ping what you actually want to do, Sage. You know what you want to do, your teammate doesn't. As you can see, he's still up in that building, just kind of looting his jolly way around, right? Meanwhile, you're about to look down on what will end up being enemies. And again, this like people drop here for the area you're going to, and you're going here alone. So keep that in mind. Right here, you see an enemy right here. This is the first thing you should be pinging. Like, you haven't pinged anything else in the game. If you're not going to ping anything else, this should be the first thing you ping. Right there. You see an enemy right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to end up going down, and your teammate isn't going to know about this guy until you're engaging him, which is about 30 seconds away. So, you see an armor on the right side. You see the guy on the left side. You look at him again. Still don't ping him. You pick up the armor. You come back. You hug this wall.
Didn't even ping the blue armor either, though, for your teammate.
That's a good point, too. I didn't even think of that. There's a blue armor right next to the purple. It didn't ping it. And as you can see in the bottom left, your teammate has white armor, so obviously he needs it. Now you're sitting here, you're literally looking at the enemy, Sage, and you still haven't pinged him. Now you first saw him about 16 seconds ago, I believe it was, and you still haven't pinged the guy. And your teammate is still way up here, not coming towards you, as you can tell by the arrow, or the direction of his arrow. He's looking away from you, so he's not coming towards you. Here we go. You get spotted. You ping that. That's good. Your teammate realizes now your teammate's coming. So what could have happened here, Sage, is you could have pinged the enemy, and like I guarantee you were thinking of hitting the Q and doing this play. But what you want to do before you do that is ping the enemy so that your teammate is up top holding an angle on this enemy so you can actually push him and win the fight. You end up winning it because you just outscale him, but against good players where, you know, this guy's gonna be communicating with his teammate's gonna be right around the corner, probably just up top or even hiding and you can't see him, right? Get around the corner, misses all her shots, she has to reload. Nice, easy. Your teammate helps you. Good execution.
Reloading. There's a void in your heart, and I put it there.
And right here, you've looted the box. You've looted everything you needed to off that body. You're full HP, so you don't need to heal. So your next order of operations should be to start pinging where you want to go. You know that that guy was not an instant kill, so you know that he has a teammate somewhere, and he probably didn't land by himself. So you should be pinging at the very least either the rope you see right here, that zipline right there, or the zipline that your teammate just came from. You don't know where the other guy is. Those are the two most likely places that the guy would be, because this Loba came from that zip on your right there. So chances are her teammate is on the same side of this, the same half of this complex, if you will. You're loading, you're looking around. Pick up gold alternator, nothing wrong with this. Low key, gold alternator is really fun. You start going up, you clearly want to go up, but you haven't pinged it. Your teammate's still down here doing whatever he's doing, right? And here you hear footsteps. I don't know if you heard that, Sage. I'll play it again if you didn't. They are quiet. mind you. So I don't know if your headset picks it up or not, but I'm going to point out quiet footsteps like that in further down the VOD as well. You hear footsteps, it's not pinged. Again, you haven't pinged where you want to go, so your teammate probably has no idea. You should at least have an idea that there's somebody coming now with the footsteps. In theory, you should be able to hear them too. And I mentioned this later on, but the audio in Apex is just really inconsistent. So anytime you hear something, you should be calling it to your teammates, no matter what.
Well, can you actually loot and move around inside of a loot box on a controller? Did we figure that out?
I do not know, and I forgot to ask. Sage, do you know, like, can you move around while looting on a controller? Obviously you can on PC, or on mouse and keyboard rather.
Like, the whole time when I got to Diamond last season, I faced only one controller player, so I never noticed if they were moving around or not.
Yeah. Whatever. I'll keep playing. Yes, you can. Okay. Well, if you can, you definitely start doing that. 100% start doing that. Always be moving. You never want to not be moving unless you're, in a weird spot and you don't want to move for whatever reason. Only crouching. You can't move from side to side then. Even just crouching is fine then, honestly. Like, standing still is a free headshot, right? If you're crouching, you might be able to dodge the headshot, right? Because, like, headshot with a Kraber, instant down. Headshot with a Sentinel early game, that's charged up, right? You're down. Even a Wingman, if you have no armor early game, if they have, like, a hammer point, that can down you. So, like, some pretty niche scenarios, but you can get one shot down by a headshot, so it's just not worth it. Always be moving. And again, you hear the footsteps. No pings on where you want to go. You guys are lollygagging around the middle, doing nothing. You see him drop. You have some nice crouch movement there, Sage, by the way.
That's how you do it.
You do it quite a few times in the VOD. That's some pretty good movement. I want to applaud it. You loot up quick. You aren't healing yet. Now you're healing.
Charge my shields.
Your teammate is still just sitting there looking at you.
Yeah. Your teammate's kind of silly in this VOD. I believe for the next, like, 2.5 minutes, nothing really happens. You guys kind of just loot, no pings or anything. You guys just kind of slowly move, I believe, to right here. Trust me, nothing really important happens. There's nothing really to analyze in that minute, or that gap there. You guys finally decided to get out of your little building. You guys start moving forward into the next area. Right here, you hear distant shots. And again, in normal comms, you would probably call that out, Sage. Again, I would call it out, even if you think your teammate can hear it, just call it out just to be sure, because again, wonky audio. But since you aren't calming, ping it, ping something, like at least ping the direction, like in the middle of the turbine or something, so your teammate has an idea of at least where you want to go, or like ping enemy here, so you know that, hey, there's enemies this direction somewhere, things like that. And here is where you're dancing around, kind of doing nothing. And again, there's no clear plan of direction or anything. Your teammate starts crafting. You hear him crafting, most importantly. You hear him crafting, and this is what you're going to do, Sage. You're going to sit here, and you're going to get distracted by something, what I assume is IRL. And then your teammate's almost going to get fucked for it.
Why did you ping that? What was that ping for?
I think that's probably just a misclick, is my guess.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess. If I'm wrong, Sage, tell me I'm wrong. But I assume that was just a misclick. And see, you hear the footsteps, Sage. You hear them coming closer and closer. Your teammate is crafting on the station. So you know that those guys know that your teammate's on the crafting station. They don't know you're there. And you're not doing anything. Again, I assume you're distracted by something IRL. But in this scenario, assuming you want to get better, what you should be doing here when your teammate is crafting, one, your teammate should be pinging the crafting station if you guys aren't in comms, so you know that he wants to craft. That's the first step. He didn't do that. So I give you some leeway there. However, once you see the giant fat symbol on your screen, or you hear it in your right earphone, right, you should know that, hey, he's crafting. I need to start watching out because he's vulnerable. He's on the crafting station, right? So you need to be peeling for him. You guys haven't really cleared anything out, so you don't know where enemies could be. So just at this point, just take an angle and hold it and just listen and hope you hear footsteps before something bad happens. And in this case, you do hear footsteps, but you don't do anything to it or about it. In here, they're literally on your screen, and you still haven't done anything. Again, you are distracted, but I'm gonna judge this pretty harshly, because like this is another scenario where you could peel for your teammate before he even gets shot or before they even start shooting at him. You can melt that Bangalore on your screen right now, and she'll just go down in one clip like that, just like that, for nothing. But instead, you are distracted. Oh, that Bang is so bad. Kirby, I didn't even realize the Bang used an ult there. Oh my. These are some really bad players. This is really good movement here too, by the way, Sage. I do like a lot of this movement once the fight actually starts. You're just hovering around that cover a lot. You do a lot of damage to the Watson. The Bang chases you, jumps over, you slide inside. Really good movement.
Yeah, playing the corner is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Like, you always had cover to back off.
Yeah, that was a really good play there. Now, I'm gonna judge you pretty harshly here too, because this is another example of not healing after a fight is finished, and this will actually go on for about 31 seconds, I believe. But so here, the first things first, you notice your armor only has one tick on it. You should be armor swapping first, or healing, one of the two. Doesn't matter which, as long as you get to full HP. Because again, this is a highly contested area. The circle's not in on you yet. Chances are, I don't know if you remember earlier, Sage, the footsteps you heard in front of you before you got into the turbine, those were not these people. Because these people obviously came from a different direction. So, to your knowledge, there could totally still be a team around. Now, you should always be thinking that in general in Apex, because there's just so many teams in the lobby, but you know that you heard footsteps, so people were close enough to definitely hear these shots and hear this fight. So that's something to keep in mind.
We made the right choices.
What you do is you loot a bunch of ammo, you start looting meds.
Reloading.
You still haven't healed. And I'm going to go into the inventory manager here in a second too. Okay, you start to heal, but you don't heal. You instead go back into the loot box. You're just kind of lollygagging, kind of doing whatever. Okay, you've looted, you've reloaded, you're looting the other box, you still haven't healed yet. 7:35. Now the fight finished, right? The fight finished at like 7:01 or something like that, and you walk up to the loot box at 7:03, Sage. I think is what it is. You didn't start healing until 7:35. That's 32 seconds that a team could have walked up and just lasered you because you had 127 HP. Against good teams or in a ranked game or a competitive tournament lobby, you are so dead. Like, you are dead literally like 27 seconds ago because you didn't heal. So that's kind of how important healing is after a fight. Now, before I continue the VOD, I want to go into the inventory management a little bit. I can show it on screen if you guys want me to. But basically, what you have right now is you have 4 medkits on you. I think you have 8 syringes on you as well. You do have 3 bats on you, but you have also, as you can see right here in the bottom right, 336 light rounds. What that means is 6 inventory slots out of your, I believe you're 14 at this point, are occupied by light rounds. Now, having ammo is not a bad thing, especially when you're running double light SMG, right? Now, the problem is, you don't ever need that much ammo. What I would say is you want to hover around really no more than 300 rounds, which is 5 stacks or 5 slots. I think even with double light SMG, you just run 240 max. I think 240 is more than enough. If a fight goes on long enough that you can't resupply your light rounds after 240 rounds, there's two things here that has happened. One, you suck and you should probably just die anyway because you have done enough damage to kill anybody, that's just the harsh truth. Or you have killed people, and those other inventory slots that you now have free, those can be used for things like nades, which you have, I believe, either 1 or 2 on you right now. I think you actually just dropped a thermite, so I believe you only have this 1 frag on you right now. Nades are very strong. I'll go into this later, but nades can peel for you in those moments where you do need to loot, if you need to loot for something like that. But again, 240 rounds should be more than enough to finish out a fight and allow you to loot, armor swap, things like that. And light ammo is also extremely common, as opposed to, like, think energy ammo, right? Like, energy ammo really isn't that common because not a lot of players use the weapons. And honestly, from my experience, more light ammo just drops in general on the map. So you really don't need to carry a lot of light ammo with you. And as for the med kits, I mentioned you have 4. This is more of a personal preference thing, I think, but I do think you can min-max it a little harder than you do. I don't think in any world you need 4 med kits because the chance of you actually using a med kit, right, is already slim in and of itself because you have to go through all your shields and then be low enough in actual health and have 8 seconds of free time to pop the med kit, right? So that's 3 separate criteria there. To do that 4 times in one match, let alone 4 times without being able to loot another medkit, because again, it has to happen to other people for them to use theirs. Because again, people typically carry medkits, at least 2. I always carry 2 personally. In fact, I believe I wrote down what I normally carry here. What I normally carry is about 4 to 5 slots of ammo total. This is between both of my guns, whether I'm using different ammo types or the same ammo type, doesn't matter. I carry 1 Phoenix kit. I carry 2 medkits. I carry 8 cells. You can drop down to 4 cells if you really want to. I just like 8 personally. I carry 4 syringes, and then I fill the rest of my slots with batteries and nades. The only exception is if I'm Lifeline or Watson, where I'll carry at least 1 Ultic cell on me as well. So yeah, don't underestimate the power of nades in lieu of ammo slots. You don't need as much ammo as you need. That's kind of you don't need as much ammo as you're carrying. That's kind of the point of this. And you also, in my opinion, don't need as many med kits or syringes as you're carrying. Because again, I believe you're carrying 4 med kits and 8 syringes. I would swap those numbers with the bats and cells that you have. As you can notice right here, you have 4 cells currently on you. You should have at least 8 if you're looking to loot more of the smaller meds, as opposed to 8 syringes, which you do have on you right now.
Recharging my shields.
Let's see. Trisma, I sent you a message.
Okay.
I do gotta go, but before I go, there's only one thing I do want to put in as well. So I guess is what I've learned so far when playing Apex is I'll see stuff I've done wrong and know what I've done wrong, and then I'll play another match, but I wouldn't implement any of the practice of how to fix it. And I'll just keep going, see the same mistake, like, oh, okay, I need to fix that, and wouldn't do anything. So if I were you, just like the crouch moving when you're looting a box, every game you get into, at least do it once per game, so it actually starts getting into your mind. If you don't, it's not really going to stick with you, and that applies to everything else. But you do have really good movement, though, man.
Yeah, the movement's really good. But yeah, I would just start crouching out on boxes for sure.
But yeah, just at least practice something once per game. You don't have to do multiple things per game, just one.
Yeah,
and then you'll get that down and then move on.
Yeah, just work on it slowly. And again, I'm gonna send you all these notes, Sage, so you can like pick apart whatever you want. You could choose to focus on one thing at a time. However you want to approach it, I'll give you all these notes. All right, Kirby, you ready?
Yeah, I gotta go. You'll know when you read the
Gotcha.
message. But all right, hey, take it easy, man. I'll see you on Friday, though, right?
Yeah, I'll see you Friday.
If I already made it to Diamond, we need to go past Diamond.
Yeah, okay, yeah, got it.
So, all right, take it easy.
Peace. All right, let's finish the VOD here. Let me see where we at. Okay, that was all the inventory stuff. I think I reference inventory again later on, but okay, you're finally healed up. Good job. You did it. You did it, Smile. I believe nothing happens for another... No, you guys fight again here in a second. Yeah, okay. You guys fight here, but there's nothing really, like... You guys take this engagement about as normal as you can. It's pretty fair. You armor swap, which is really good. You armor swapped instantly. Good, like, good call there. Then obviously you get shot for, you know, what is that? Almost, actually, like, that's like what, 110 damage? If you didn't armor swap, chances are you might have gone down. I don't remember what your HP was before that, but yeah. That right there is why you armor swap. Especially since that guy wasn't an instant kill. So it's like really important. Oh no, is the VOD gonna do this shit again? Oh no. I've had random problems trying to load this VOD today, and I don't know why. Alright boys, we're refreshing. See, look, it just like takes forever to pull it from Twitch. The rest of my internet works just fine. Okay, you make it down, you clean it up, you reload, you res. This is the right play. You res, you're good. You loot the Evo shield, ammo, bats, get the stock, and you move. It's a good play. What's going to happen here is your teammate's going to walk into the corner, he's going to pop a Phoenix hit, you're going to drop a Phoenix hit, you're going to pick it back up. And what I want to stress here is that after you guys are done healing, and even right now, you guys could technically do this right now, Sage. You could be pinging, what you want to do. You could literally open up the map and ping a spot on the map if you want, because obviously you're inside like a tight area. You can't really ping a direction from here, but you could open up the map and just ping something to say like, hey, I want to go here. I assume you can do that on console. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, but yeah, that's what I do here. Just ping something, get moving, right? Like, have a plan of attack for whatever you want to do next, whatever that may be. You guys just heal here. I believe nothing important happens for a while. Again, no pings. You guys just end up walking up the front when you guys could go left or right if you really wanted to. Again, pings help differentiate that. Sight on the waterfall. Fight goes on. Okay, and here. So, right here, you hear footsteps on the left. You hear them. But I'm going to go ahead and let it play.
Might be something good this way.
You do ping it. I think... So, I do think you are trying to ping the footsteps. That's what I'm going to assume. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I think that's why you're pinging. You climb up. You get scanned. Why is it... Oh my god. Okay, there we go. You get scanned, right? So obviously your teammate knows somebody's coming. You know somebody's coming. What you should do is you should be holding this box on the right. And I'm going to go into nade usage here in just a moment. But what I want to stress first, I'm going to go into some more brain stuff. Before this engagement, once you are scanned, two things need to happen in your head. The first thing, most importantly, you need to think about how you can approach this fight so you are in the most favorable position possible for you to win the engagement. Now, what that means, your teammate's on the low ground, as you can see right here. He's coming towards you, but he's on the low ground. There's a box right here you can sit on top of. You know that the enemy team is either inside the building or they are on the opposite side of the building, right? Your teammate has this door over here covered. He can see the door. He can see if they come out, he will shoot them. You can trust your teammate here. You don't need to worry about this guy. What you need to worry about is the opposite side of this roof. That's where you should be looking. Now, what you guys don't know is if somebody is in this little under area here. You just have to go off instinct, or like you just have to trust yourself and that nobody's there, because you saw the scan come from over here, so you know for sure one is over here, outside the building, not down here, not even on top of the building, over here. He's over here off in the distance in the field, right? So you know one is there. That guy should be your primary focus since your teammate can watch this door. And again, you have cover right here on your right side, the little generator on top of the building. That's where you need to play here. That's your highest chance of success in this position at this very moment. Now, secondly, think about where you can fall back to in order to heal should you need to. Because what's going to end up happening is you do need to heal in this fight. And it's pretty clear that that wasn't really thought of before you went into the fight. Now, not every engagement you're going to have the time to do that, but you always want to at least try to do that. Let me see. We go on for a few more seconds. Okay, here's a lifeline. So, now what you should be thinking here, whenever you can, you know that there was a bloodhound scan. You know that the bloodhound scanned from in the field. Now you're seeing a lifeline. This is duos. So, 2 people, right? You know that nobody's going to be in here unless they're a rat. Nobody's going to be inside the building unless they just walked into the building. So, what you can safely assume is that both people are going to be coming up to the top of the building and trying to peel you off. You see her, you should be looking to back down since your teammate still is not up here with you because you're probably going to get overpowered. Now, what I want to mention, in addition to this, before we move forward, do you remember this little guy right here? That little grenade, right? Had you done proper inventory management earlier, right, and only had 4 stacks of ammo here, as opposed to the 6 that you do, and if you would have dropped 2 of those medkits so you had an extra slot, and 4 of those syringes so you had another slot, that would give you 5 nades total. Do you need 5 nades for this fight? Probably not. But that would give you an array of options. You could have an arc star, you could have a thermite, you could have a normal frag. You could literally just throw the thermite on the edge, or you could throw an arc star right here, right on this edge. That literally gives you time to do whatever you want on these generators and gives your teammate time to walk up on top of the building on the roof with you, so you're not forced into a 1v1 engagement that can go either way. Either you win or he wins, right? That's how this fight could go. As opposed to if you had an arc star, now your team has time to group up with you. So if they choose to push you up top, you guys can both focus fire him. What ends up happening here is, let's watch. You'll get low HP and you'll have to drop off high ground. So now both of them are up top. You drop, which dropping is the right play. Mind you, it's totally the right play here. You drop. Now your teammate's up there by himself. Now your teammate is engaging by himself. You guys took 2 isolated, like, cracks at the same fight. When you guys could have had either of you had nades, delayed so both of you can be up there at the same time, team firing, right? If you guys team fire, this fight's so much easier. Now, you pop your Q, and it's pretty clear, like, look, you walk to the left towards this direction. I think you're thinking that you want to go inside the building, but you choose not to, because I think you realize that one's going to push you. Now, that's not necessarily a bad line of thinking. However, if you reference what I said before, right, you want to, again, the 2 things you want to think about going into a fight is, 1, how are you going to be most successful in the fight? You know, where can you position? But where can you safely fall back to? Your Wraith, you have a Q. You should know that from basically on top of that roof, you have enough time to make it back to where you end up going, back here on the left. Now, there is one downside to this. The one downside is if you do that, your teammate is by himself. There's no map, so I can't point it out, but you just saw him on top of the roof. Your teammate will be by himself, potentially being pressured by 2 people. What ends up happening is Lifeline is very, very dumb, and she chases you. I don't know why she chases you, but she should just be team firing your teammate so they get a free down. But they're bad players, so whatever. I think it's safe in, you know, a real ranked or competitive tournament scenario to just hit your Q and go behind this box, because again, I think a good team will focus fire your teammate. You still want to be in range of them, so you can actually help your teammate out and peel for him when you come out of your Q. But that's obviously not what happens. I don't think what you do is a bad play necessarily. I just think it's bad against better players. It keeps you alive, so it's good for you, but it's bad for your teammate. So yeah, you know. So you end up going back here to the left, and again, because you hesitated, because you weren't sure where you wanted to go, a good player would down you there. You only got hit twice. A good player will hit you 5 times in that short span. And again, that can be mitigated by thinking about it before you start the fight. You see him pushing you, so you bait around the forklift, you reload, you laser him, he's dead.
Last member's down. One squad.
Your teammate won his 1v1, the lifeline was down and pushed you, you won your 1v1. So, here, you go to loot before you heal. And this is another example of where you shouldn't do that. Because you know that, like, the circle is smaller, you can see it's here, it's like fading in right here. The circle's closing in, right? This is what, circle 2? It's about to close in. There's 4, now there's only 4 squads left, including you guys. All the other squads in the arena probably just heard your fight. There's going to be, in ranked for sure, competitive tournament, debatable, depends on the map and such. Teams will be third-partying you. Good teams will third-party you. You guys have been pretty lucky that nobody's really ever third-partied you at all. In fact, here in a few seconds, a team is going to push you from this side, and what I assume is their best attempt at third partying, or they're just hoping that you guys left, but you guys didn't. So again, here you want to heal first. That should be your primary objective after the fight finishes. And then you can go ahead and loot for attachments or whatever else you might need. I want to reiterate, 7 stacks of ammo now. You heal, you're watching, so nobody can come behind. The watching is good. You boost up. I think then you decide to go back. I assume to loot the lifeline box again, I believe is what happens. You want to loot them all. You have 5 medkits on you now. You don't even loot. Through all that time, you don't even loot the light mag, dude. I'm pissed. Also, I don't know if you heard that. Let's go. Did you hear that? That one footstep on the left side? That's right. You heard a footstep again. You hear footsteps, you don't ping it. I'll fast forward a couple seconds here. More footsteps. Your warning comes up. Still nothing. You've done nothing about it. You still have a nade, by the way. You still have a nade. You have 12 cells. You have 3 bats. 3 bats is all. Again, I'm always for going for bats. I'd say if you go over 6 bats, that might be a little excessive, but really you can never have too many bats, in my opinion. Again, you don't need the 4 medkits. You don't need to switch ammo. You could totally drop 4 cells and pick up, that'd be what, 1, 2, 3, 4 grenades here. You could pick up 4 grenades, even 5 grenades, and you'd be perfectly fine. You could have 5 nades. You could do whatever you want with those nades. In fact, those nades that I mentioned, this team on the left, once you hear them and once this warning comes up, you can get behind this, throw a couple of nades out if you had those nades, peel for yourself to get back into the window for both you and your teammate, and you guys can do whatever you want. If you guys peel them, you and your teammate have time to get up on the roof and hold a high ground position against this team that's pushing you on the left.
Danger, move.
You don't start moving until you get shot at, so that's about, like, you heard them 6 seconds ago, your warning came up 3 seconds ago, so that's up to 6 seconds of time that you could have had to warn both you and your teammate to move. Again, that was just from the first footstep. You probably wouldn't have noticed it for another few footsteps, so maybe like 4 seconds ago, in reality. You use this for cover. You know that he's probably reloading at that point, so you use that time to cross. That's good. He misses his ability. You heal. He pushes you in the window. And now I want to reiterate before this fight continues, if you had a nade, he, in theory, can't push you here, especially if you have 2 arc stars. You can basically block him from ever pushing you through the window like this. But you just beam him and he gets wrecked. Okay, they're all dead. That's fantastic. Good aim. Good movement. Look at this. You heal right after the fight's done. This is really good. Really good. Get into the habit of doing this all the time. I still don't do great with it. something I didn't put in the notes, and I can if you want. Now that I'm thinking about it, in regards to not just inventory management but loot in general, I know it sounds really dumb, Sage, but, and I say this unironically, get good at looting. Like, get faster with it is kind of what I mean by that. Like, get really good at looting so that, like, you can just go down the list and be done looting in, like, 3 seconds. That's it. You don't have to sit there thinking about it. Like, once a fight is finished, try and analyze what you've used, what you need. Like, if you use a lot of light ammo, okay, click the light ammo button twice, right? If you used any meds mid-fight, think about what meds you used and try to replenish those if you need more. If you don't need more, don't worry about it. Things like that. Again, I can put that down in the notes if you want me to. I didn't put that down. I forgot to bring it up. You're full healed. You're looting boxes. This is fine. Again, no pings on where you guys want to go.
Got a replicator coming in.
I've talked about pinging several times. I'm gonna keep pointing it out, but I think you kind of get the idea. But I'm just gonna keep pointing out so you kind of know when you should be doing it, why it might be useful. Because, like, look, you guys have spent. Wonder how long did you guys spend here? The fight ended and you started healing at 12:15. It is now 12:51. You guys are still in the area, no pings, nothing. And even if you guys want to stay still, you want to at least ping, like, under your feet to indicate that, so both you and your teammate are on the same page. Your teammate's probably AFK, is kind of what it looks like. You're just dancing around.
Let's go this way.
You fucking pinged. You did it. You learned, dude. You pinged not just the rock in the direction you want to go, but you also pinged the enemy. And your teammate's coming. Well, he was coming. Now he's AFK. But that's the right idea. That's exactly what you want to do. God, water chat. I love it. I believe the fight happens here. I can totally fast forward this. I forgot. You mark it. Oh, here. I'll let it play out. You see the one on the left. You see the one in front of you. You hit him for 40 damage. You miss those shots. You start getting shot at. He starts getting shot at. He starts taking damage. Since you're running away, and you know that one team is behind you, there's only one other team. You want to be conscious of that, because they could totally come in a third party at any time if they wanted to. But on the same note, you want to be paying attention since you're now not getting shot at. As you're running away, you're not taking damage, and you hear your teammate is by the lines he's using. Keep an eye on his health. And the reason I bring that up is if he just like takes a small hit here or there, you don't necessarily need to do this. But because of his HP now, because it's so low, what you want to be doing here is you want to be peeling for your teammate. You know that these guys are shooting at you. You know that they're probably calling out, hey, we broke the octane and did about 80 flesh to him, so the octane is super low, we should engage, right? That is totally the right call for that team to make, and that's exactly what they do, is they do engage. And I believe it's a Loba and a Pathfinder. So, and you saw them zipping, so you know that chances are they could probably catch up to you really quick, especially that Pathfinder. Like, Loba has a teleport, and Pathfinder has a really fast grapple, right? So, what you should be doing here is peeling for your teammate since you know that he's low. And you don't even necessarily need to shoot. What you just need to do is be spotting through this crack right here. Because as you can see, he's healing. You also technically need to heal, or you should heal in this case, and you actually do heal. What you do, you don't jiggle, you pull out the cell, and you look back up this way to heal. Now, on its own, this is not necessarily a bad thing because you don't know where that last team is at. That's probably what you're thinking. However, again, your teammate is low, and the most immediate threat is this fight. And what I would say here is, and this is why I bring this up in the notes, I would consider using a portal here. And the reason I would, after you're peeling for your teammate, once you get an eye on the Loba and the Pathfinder to see how close they are, portaling is potentially a good idea because it will get you and your teammate out. On top of that, you don't know where the last squad is. Portaling kind of allows you to have a few seconds of invulnerability going back and forth if you do run into problems. Obviously, it gets you out of a sticky situation, but at the end of the day, you definitely want to be peeling for your teammate, and then consider the portal after if you don't already have an idea for a portal that you want to use in place. I wouldn't say the portal is imperative here by any means. It's just something to think about. But yeah, just make sure you're peeling for him, and you all should be good. Your teammates running. They cross back over the gap.
10 seconds to the ring. It's closer.
He's healing up again. You portal him out. This is a very good portal. Very good portal. I brought up the other portal spot just in case, because it's something I think you should consider. But I also really like this portal because of what ends up happening here. I think normally people don't take this zip to push you guys. I think they would normally run through all this cover, right? Good players run through the cover, especially since it's a Pathfinder with grapple and a Loba with a teleport. They probably just chase you down here before you get to this rock and heal up and port. So that's why I would say consider using the portal down there. But since they don't do that, this ends up being a very good play. It's a great play by you. Your teammate heals, he takes portal, comes back. Now, this fight is going to go super well. I think you and your teammate play really well here. Neither of you overextend, and you guys let them walk into your crosshairs, and they just do it one at a time and get completely shredded. Pathfinder walks up first, you do damage to him, you then laser her, you reload, go back up, she chases, break her, she runs, Pathfinder comes back, you down him, then you guys chase the Loba. It's a beautiful fight. The only thing I would say that can make this fight better, and I know I've said it multiple times, is a grenade. A grenade is amazing here. And the reason why, once they're on the back of your rock at the top there, once they're on the back of your rock up here behind this rock right there, you can totally throw nades behind it to force them out of position. So they either have to swing on you or they have to go above you. You know, and chances are they're going to split up unless they call to go to go a same direction. But it forces them out of cover, especially when they're hurting like that. Forcing them out of cover is really good. So again, just another example of potential nade usage and placement.
Reloading. Whole squad's down.
Charging on my shields.
Recharging my shield.
But yeah, at the end of the day, regardless, that was a great fight. You guys took it very well. You guys didn't overextend. And not overextending is really good, especially when your teammate isn't joining you. You guys look around, and this is, you guys just, I think he pings to go to the Grove Tower, and you guys do, which is good. Again, just utilizing pings more is a good thing in general. You're scanning, clearing things out. He spots him. Let's see. You use a nade coming up here. I think he's right here. PogChamp chat. PogChamp, you ready? PogChamp? Get your PogChamps ready? PogChamp, the one nade of the game. Watch this. 2 damage. Huge fucking PogChamp.
Contact with target.
Engaging. It's go time.
I mean, there's nothing really to comment on these two. They kind of just walk into your crosshair. You guys engage together. They're split. Nothing really to say there. You guys just shred them. You guys are together. They're split. You guys win. That's GG's. And that will conclude the VOD review.